So let's look at what is Gaussian's theorem. Gaussian's theorem states that the fluxus is equal to Q by epsilon naught. You already know flux is integration of E dot ds, a surface integral of electric field over a closed surface. So thus the Gaussian's equation is a combination of both. This is Gaussian's theorem, 1 by epsilon naught times the charge enclosed. That is Gaussian's theorem, flux. And the Gaussian's equation is this. If you imagine a charge, point charge, the Gaussian surface will be a sphere around it, concentric spheres. You can consider at any point P on the Gaussian surface. You can always use Gaussian's theorem to find the electric field at that point. Even for a line charge, we did a big sum, remember, at any point P due to the line charge without using Gaussian theorem. But if you have a line charge, using Gaussian theorem, it becomes very simple. If you have a point P, you can consider it to be an imaginary cylindrical Gaussian surface. And so then the ds vector will be like this and electric field will be like this. But if you look at on the top, the electric field will be in this direction and the ds vector is in this direction. So E ds cos 90 I know. So hence there is no electric field on the top or at the bottom. There is no flux at the top or the bottom. The flux will be there only on the side. In the case here, in the case of an infinitely say plane sheet, you know the charges will be staying on the surface. I've showed you with the mobile, and so then the electric field will be emanating from here and from the sides, and hence the Gaussian surface will be an imaginary cylinder like this with an area here and area here. The ds vector is here and the electric field is here, and hence E ds cos 0 will be there only here, which is flux will be available only on this side and this side. There's no flux on the top and the bottom because E ds cos 90. So these are the basic things. So now let's look at the let's study about due to line charge at any point P. Let's find what is the electric field using Gaussian surface, imaginary cylinder covering that point P. The ds vector is like this, the electric field is also like this, and E ds cos 0, which is equal to Q by epsilon naught. So E dot ds will become E ds 0 integrated from 0 to 2 pi r L because L is length. And the surface area is 2 pi r L is equal to Q by epsilon naught. So E into 2 pi r L is equal to Q by epsilon naught. Thus E will be Q by 2 pi r L epsilon naught, or you can write Q by 2 pi epsilon naught times RL, or you can multiply and divide by 2Q by 4 pi epsilon naught into RL. 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught itself is K, so K into 2Q by RL, where Q by L itself is line charge density. So you can write it like this. So this is the electric field at any point P due to a line charge. Now let's look at an infinitely plane sheet. You know how it works. I told you there's a cylinder like this and cylinder like this because you will have E ds cos 0 only on the sides. There will be flux like this and there will be flux like this also. E ds cos 0 will be equal to Q by epsilon naught. This area is A and A, okay, and so it is integrated from 0 to 2A. There is no flux coming out by this side because E ds cos 90 I know, because electric field is like this. And ds vector is upward and ds 90, so hence on the sides you don't have, the top and bottom you don't have flux. So integration of E ds is equal to Q by epsilon naught. Ds on integration becomes E into 2A is equal to Q by epsilon naught, upper limit minus lower limit, is equal to epsilon naught Q by 2A into epsilon naught, where Q by A itself is sigma by 2 epsilon naught. This is the electric field due to an infinitely plane sheet is sigma by 2 epsilon naught. Now let's compare two infinitely plane sheets with surface charge density as here sigma p and here sigma q. Let's divide the region 1, region 2, region 3 and region region 1 left. The electric field due to the first one and the second sheet will be on the left. So minus sigma p by 2 epsilon naught minus sigma q by 2 epsilon naught. Region 2 left, it will be like this and like this. So sigma p by 2 epsilon naught minus sigma q by 2 epsilon naught. Region 3 la both the plates will have an electric field in this direction. So sigma p by 2 epsilon naught plus sigma q by 2 epsilon naught. Considering that sigma p is equal to sigma q minus 2 sigma by 2 epsilon naught, so minus sigma by epsilon naught. Here this and this will get cancelled, in that case electric field becomes 0. In this case it will be 2 sigma by 2 epsilon naught. So it's positive here. So this is the way, and you can understand that between when it's positive and positive, the electric field can be 0 in, but it's positive and negative, the electric field will not be 0 in between, correct? It's very simple, because here electric field will be like this, and for this also electric field, so it will be adding up both electric fields. So in that case it will be sigma p by 2 epsilon naught plus sigma q by 2 epsilon naught here, and so it will not be 0. This will exert, this will have an electric field like this, and this will have an electric field like this. And so if you are studying this region, there will be an electric field can be 0 only behind the plate on this side of it, or depending on the surface charge, the charge density being less or greater, it will be either on this side or on this side. Okay, and that's about infinitely plane sheet. Now considering a solid sphere, this is a spherical shell which has got full positive charges on surface. At any point P, you have to consider it to be a concentric sphere. The ds vector will be like this. The electric field will also be radially outward. E ds cos 0 will be equal to q by epsilon naught. So what is it? E ds cos 0, hence it goes, ds will be integrated from 0 to this position vector small r, and this will be capital R. So E into 4 pi small r square is equal to q by epsilon naught after integration. So E is equal to q by 4 pi epsilon naught into r square, and E is equal to q by 4 pi epsilon naught itself is k q by r square. That will be the electric field at any point P. Supposing you would consider the shell of radius r, and inside of it, if it is a hollow shell, the surface charge density will be only on the surface, the electric field will be only from the surface, and hence there will be no electric field inside, and hence the flux inside will also be 0. So the electric field inside a hollow shell will be 0. Okay, there are no flux lines at all, so electric field will be 0 inside the hollow shell. But if it was a solid shell, very important, this capital R, considering a point P here, which is imaginary surface with small r is the position vector always. So this is the position vector small r. Okay, it's got a position vector small r at a point P. Consider this is ds vector. The electric field will also be outward, because it's a solid shell. Inside also there will be charges evenly distributed. So let's consider that Q is the charge for 4 by 3 pi r cube, the total volume. What will be the charge for 4 by 3 pi small r cube? Q into small r cube by capital R cube. See, I am doing the apple portion. So I have found the charge pertaining to the small sphere. Okay, so then integration of E dot ds. ds will be small r square, 0 to 4 pi small r square is equal to q by epsilon naught. E into 4 pi r square is equal to q by epsilon naught. So E itself is q. It's not q. Q itself is this. So E q small r cube by capital R cube, 4 pi small r square. Hence this and this gets cancelled. You get q by epsilon naught, of course. 4 pi epsilon naught small r by capital R cube. That will be the formula for to find the electric field at a point P inside this solid shell. Okay, this apple portion is something you need to start with, which you have to recollect.